on defensively during the bye week and just leading up into this one as well?
Yeah, well, really, it's sort of like the last bye week we had. We really concentrated on the same things. You know, there's some areas during the game that we need to keep continuing to have success with, and we're really practicing on those things. And talking about 2-minute situations and red zone situations in particular, and so we've really put an emphasis on that. But more so, it's trying to get some guys. Practice time but they need some recovery time also with injuries and different things. Just make sure they're healthy and ready to go for Saturday. So, and it's always a good chance to get some of our younger players, get them a little extra exposure and focus on those guys a little bit too. So we tried to really accomplish a lot of things, but every practice we were also preparing for Iowa State. So, so we've by Saturday, if we're not ready to play those dudes, then we're just not going to be ready. But so we've concentrated in all those areas.
What has given you trouble with the 2-minute situation so far?
I don't know. You guys see it sometimes too. It's I think it's being in a position to make plays. And you got to make plays, and we've had a couple of mental breakdowns on some things that we shouldn't. So I'd like to tell you, got to make all the perfect calls and things. But there's things that you call, and we just got to execute those plays. So it's just more of execution and finishing plays the way they need to be finished, and that's really how you're going to be successful doing anything.
Against K-State, they didn't score a touchdown from like the 13-minute mark in the third quarter on, averaged 2.2 yards per play in the fourth quarter. Is there something that you were able to carry from that forward?
Yeah, well, like we kind of got in that situation where we did quite a bit of pressuring towards the end of the game, and they seemed to struggle at least with some of it at times. So that was as good an answer as we had to anything. So we just kept calling it and calling them, and so I do think that I've kind of felt as the year has gone along that we're a pretty decent blitzing team. We are. So I think that's where we need to continue to mix all those kind of things in there a little bit more. So I was kind of happy with some of our pressures, and some of those things are evolving a little bit too. It's a little bit maybe more than we've done in the past with the pressure and the coverage piece. So I think it's given offenses a little more to think about.
Conventional wisdom is you keep putting in the work, the results are going to show up on the field. I mean, players on teams have been told that for years, right? You guys have all said it. You've also said, and Jeff just said it a minute ago, that these guys just continue to show up and work, and how proud you are of them. How have you seen that mental toll on them of not getting the results, frankly?
Yeah, I agree with all the things that you just said. I do. Our guys do. They show up. They do the work. They have good attitudes. They're good to be around guys, and so I feel bad for them. But I would tell you, I think there's not like there's no frustration. I think there is, but I always try to put to guys all the time. It's, well, what are your alternatives? Either you're going to take your foot off the gas and quit and get more of the same and maybe worse results, or you keep your foot on the gas and you play with the same amount of determination you had on week number 1 or week number 2, and we clean up a few things that need to get cleaned up, and you got to just trust that the results are gonna, ultimately the results are gonna show themselves. So we just kind of taken that approach, and so far, like I said, I haven't seen it in one guy yet. Like, man, that guy, he's checked out. I don't see that in one guy. So I feel like we're gonna come out Saturday and we're gonna be fired up to play the best game that we have and the best game that we can, and then again. But sometimes you do that and you don't win. Well, that's kind of the way life goes too. I guess the important thing right now is that we prepare, and we prepare as good as we can, and we play as well as we can, and then the results just have to speak for themselves.
Do you credit experience and the veterans is that easier for them than maybe it is for a freshman to handle
Well,
that,
yeah, without a doubt. We do have a good experienced group of guys that have kind of been around the block. They've been through the the hard times, because we've had some of those too, and really the, you know, kind of riding high on some of those good waves. So I think they've got pretty good perspective on things, and yeah, nobody expected that we're going to be in the situation we're in, but we are in the situation we're in. So you know, we just gotta keep punching. Just gotta keep punching and trust that the results are going to come.
What's the key? You talked about getting pressure from blitzes. What's the key maybe to getting more pressure out of your base stuff in your front four?
Yeah, well, the key is to, you know, we got to just be more relentless in our pass rush and apply, you know, apply the things that we work on. Sometimes, you know, we work on some pass rush things, but, you know, they don't always just pass when you think you're gonna, you know, they pass on first down. You got to be ready to transition from kind of a run thought to a pass, and so those are always things that we need to do. And then just for guys, it's recognizing what the protections are, how this protection is working, and what do I need to do versus that. And so we do spend a good amount of time on the individual technique piece, but also the, you know, here's how we attack, here's how we defeat these schemes of, you know, what they're doing. So, you know, beyond that, it's guys just got to keep developing, and you know, we've got some players with some pretty good tools, and you know, I just look on. I'll give you a guy, for example, Blake Harold on the inside. To try to tell him today, I kind of caught him before practice, and man, that dude is so much improved from the start of this year even to now. And I said, you can see it, and he's probably our best. He might be our best just pass rusher, you know, particularly on the inside. But he works his tail off. He's relentless, and so, you know, over time, that's the results show. So, but he's a guy that's really taken the coaching. Not just him. I don't want to just single out him, but he's a guy that's really taken a hold of some things, and he combines that with a great motor, and starting to see the results.
Against Houston, you were able to get some pressures too when you didn't send guys, but maybe you showed like you were going to send it.
Yep.
Do you think that's sort of the next adjustment?
Yeah, I think that's always the cat and mouse game,
yeah,
of showing pressure and bringing pressure, showing pressure and not bringing pressure. And you know, Iowa State's probably just about like anybody. If you just stay in a spot and they know where you're going to line up and how you're going to line up and what you're going to do, well, that's a huge advantage for the offense. So we're trying to build diversity into what we do in all those areas. And hey, you're showing like you're coming over here, but you're really coming from over here. Move your front and blitz. Move your front and don't blitz. So I mean, we've kind of as the year goes along, you're able to do more of that stuff because you've had more time at it. So I feel like our package continues to you know, grow in those ways, and you know, we're going to do our best to make it work for us. So there's all those elements of just what you said.
Iowa State has a new OC. Do you see much differences between what you've seen from them the last?
Yeah, maybe I still feel like they're what Iowa State has been. Maybe a little bit more wide open in certain ways. You know, a lot of empty formations and just things which I don't remember them quite as being that much in the past. So, but they still use multiple personnel packages and 2 and 3 and 4 tight end packages. So you got to prepare for a bunch of stuff, and you know, you think they're in a 2 tight end package and they're going to be in, you know, these formations, but they're in no back formations, and so they really make you work. So I think there's maybe a little bit more of that stuff, but I think at the end of the day they might have the same playbook. I don't know. So you know, because they're certainly doing a lot of similar things.
Those top 2 receivers they might have the most productive combination of 2 guys. Just what stands out to you about those 2?
Yeah, they're good in different ways. You know, 13 is we played against both those guys for, you know, a couple of years, and he's shifty, and they move him around, and they create things for him, and you know, 9 is, you know, he's obviously taller, a little longer, probably, you know, he's by himself a little bit more, and they can isolate him on, you know, on some various kinds of routes. He does a really great job. So I'm not saying they don't throw the ball to other guys, because they do, but you know, when it comes time to crunch time, you better be aware where 13-9 are at, and you better have some answers for those kind of things, and or they'll just get you. You know what I mean? So they're both really good, and quarterback's good at finding them. He knows who to go to. So give them credit.
What have you seen from Rocco this year? Is there anything different from last year?
I just maybe just growth. He's like I said, I feel like he's really good. Like if he can identify what's going on, I think he knows just what to do. So I think he runs our offense well that way, and seems like he's playing with a lot of confidence, and you know he pulls the ball down and runs it, and you know, so he's dangerous in that way. Like, I don't know, we like to play one of those old school quarterbacks that just sit back there in the pocket, you know, and got a knee brace on and can't move, and that'd be awesome sometime, but that's not happening. I don't think it's going to happen the rest of the way here. So, you know, we just got to be able to defend a quarterback that moves around, and he's really good throwing in the pocket. So we got to try to get him off his spot, and if we can do that thing, I think that'll help us. But yeah, he's a better player than he was last year, and again, they've got a good complement of players around him that you know they're going to be something to deal with.
Anything else, Coach Borland? All right.